This video is brought to you by Grandeur Warranty, your #1 online source for factory-backed extended warranties in the country.
Case, your car is so black I can barely see it.
Well, it is a black edition, Tommy.
It's also a $50,000 Golf. So today we are comparing Volkswagen's Golf R to the Subaru WRX. We're going to do a quarter mile. We're also going to run a roll race. We're going to find out what is what.
That's true. Yeah, these are two pretty quick all-wheel drive, everyday four-door cars, and that's why we've brought them to the drag strip. Tommy, tell me about your horsepower and torque.
What is Mary up to? Oh, she's driving around. Mary was joining the race.
The Leaf over there.
She was going to take it off-road, too.
Mary's not only going to beat us in her Leaf, she's going to do it in the grass. This car is a 271 horsepower, 2.4 liter flat four. This engine is the FA24. Am I right, Zach? Oh, got that right. No, so a really cool engine. It's made it to a 6-speed manual transmission in this STI, which you can still get Mr. Volkswagen over there. And then, of course, an all-wheel drive system.
Obviously, horsepower and torque are a very good thing, and that's why I have more of them. 328 horsepower, 295 pound-feet of torque, 2-liter turbo, as is pretty standard in most cars these days, and a 7-speed dual clutch. I'll give you that. The manual is more fun, but it's not going to make you any quicker here at the quarter mile.
Well, let's do this. We're going to run our first race, just standard modes, normal modes, nothing too special, like you might flat-foot it off of a stoplight, and then the second race we'll get launch control going, and we'll find out what's what.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'll throw you a little bit of a bone this first race. I won't use launch control. We'll see how they do.
All right, Zach, feeling good about this. Let's do it. Come on, Tommy. 3,000 RPM, 3,500. Oh, pretty good launch in the Subaru.
Oh, wow, slow to take off here in the Golf.
Oh, beat him way off the line.
But once it gets moving, pulls right ahead.
And then that EA 888 comes on to boil, and it is game over.
That was interesting. There was a little bit of a delay when you flat foot it. It rolls forward pretty slowly. Launch control's got to change that.
Wow, look at the difference.
But man, this car pulls once you get into the throttle. Doesn't take super long to get on the boost. This is a quick car, for the most part.
It's kind of interesting. The Golf had a very slow roll off the line.
Just matting the throttle and not using launch control. But once it gets moving and gets into boost, it's a pretty quick car.
What'd you do in the quarter with no launch control?
Did a 13.47, so
Whoa!
That's not a bad time up here at a mile above sea level on an unprepped surface. As far as the times that we get reported from the draggies, it's pretty decent.
1347 on this crap surface at this elevation is insane. That's crazy with no launch control. So I ran a 15.1, which is okay. Keep in mind, second and a half slower up here than it would be down at sea level. And this car, you know, I bogged it a little bit off the launch. It wasn't too bad, but it's interesting. You know, first gear in this Subaru really hauls ass. I think it's geared pretty short, and you just fly off the line. And I had you through kind of the middle of second, and then once you got that thing in boost and that dual clutch moving, holy bananas, that thing is fast.
Yeah, to give some more context to that number, a 13.47, we took an automatic Supra here and using launch control, which I didn't use for this first run, the Supra got a 12.94 on cold tires on this surface, and that Supra is a quick car. So this being about half a second off with no launch control is pretty impressive. We'll see how much closer it gets when I actually use it.
Yeah, that's an inline 6-cylinder rear-wheel drive BMW powered turbo. That was insane that you're that close. So I'm curious to see how launch works. So in that car, how do you engage launch control? Is it pretty straightforward?
Well, there's a few things that you got to do. You got to put it into the race mode. You got to turn traction control off. You got to accept that on the steering wheel, and then it comes on. It's definitely not the most complicated procedure that you can find in any car to get it in launch mode. But it would be kind of cool if it had a dedicated button. There's not many buttons in this interior at all. It's all touch screens and touch sensitive controls.
This car could be a really fun little rally car with all-wheel drive, and in fact I had a chance to zoom around one of these in the snow in Sweden, which was awesome. But if you are going to do that, you probably want a spare tire, and this Golf R does not come with a spare tire, which is why you need to check out Modern Spare. Now they provide the highest quality spare tire and jacks and all the bits you need for that peace of mind in case you get a flat or in case you want to take your Golf R rallying. Use the link below and check out Modern Spare. Thanks to them for sponsoring this video. Oh, and one more thing, they do all sorts of different kinds of vehicles. You can check out the full inventory over at their website, and if you don't see your car listed, give them a call. They've got a talented group of engineers that could probably set something up for you. So that car has got a something called the Euro Style package, which actually takes away features from the car and costs a tremendous amount of money.
Are you gonna make fun of my Euro style, Tommy?
Yeah, man, your skinny jeans and your cigarette smoke. Yeah, I'm sick of it, bud. What are you paying for to look so trendy?
So Tommy brings up a good point. This has about a $3,800 package called the Euro Style package. Is that right? Euro Style. Yeah, it gives you these manually adjustable, partly manually adjustable cloth seats, no sunroof, and it does give you a titanium exhaust, but it doesn't really sound that different. So it strips some weight out of the car, which is good, but it costs a lot of money, and for the most part, it gets rid of features like these seats aren't ventilated. And it costs more money. What's happening?
I mean, I think you're paying a lot for that Akrapovic exhaust, but here, we'll do a little rev battle. Let the audience see what they think. Even though this Subaru has a stock exhaust, I actually think it sounds better than that Volkswagen. All right, guys, so let us know what you think. Which of these two sounds better? This flat 4 has a really distinct tone that you don't get with the inline 4. It's got kind of this cool little thrum to it. But enough yapping here. Let's get to the second drag race. This is going to be you using launch control. I'm going to go ahead and disable traction in this WRX. I can go into track mode, or I can push and hold it and turn it off. There we go. And we'll see what's what. A pretty good launch in the Subaru.
Oh, much harder launch. Whew.
Oh, but that Volkswagen is gone.
Yeah, that throws you back in your seat. That is way better than just sticking your foot into the throttle off the launch.
It's interesting, I've got a larger displacement engine, and we both have all-wheel drive systems, but the performance difference between the two is pretty nuts.
99, 103, 108 indicated across the line. This is a quick hatchback. There's no doubt about it. So maybe there is something to that Euro style package. Whoa! Wow!
How was that, Case?
That was a 12.88. So the Supra with cold tires, like I said, did a 12.94, but with warm tires, it was somewhere in the mid 12.7 range, maybe a 12.74, if I remember right. So this Golf is about as quick in the quarter mile as a 6-cylinder final edition spec'd out Supra. How impressive is that?
I mean, you're running times now quicker than our first gen Viper. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, the fastest time we've gotten with the Viper was a 13.99. So yeah, this car is very quick.
Dude, that's nuts. That's really, really, really insane. And I mean, at the end of the day, it still is just a Volkswagen hatchback, but you do have to pay for it.
Yeah, the final price on this car is $53,000. So it is not an inexpensive one, but this is kind of top of the line, so it's to be expected.
I think I'm pretty close in saying that's probably the most expensive factory production Golf ever made, at least that was sold in the US. Because, you know, we're talking over 50 grand now. Like we said, that's got the Euro package. It also is a black edition, so everything is fully blacked out in that Golf. Not only the paint, but all the badging, all the trim. I mean, everything is black in that Volkswagen Golf. So like it's a lot of money, but then keep in mind too, we were driving a GR Corolla recently. That thing was $46,000.
That's true, and I love that the GR Corolla does give you the manual option, but this is definitely a much nicer interior than that car.
Now, in comparison, this is our producer Zach's WRX. A huge thank you once again to Zach for letting us use it. If you were to buy this exact car new, it'd be about $39,000. So this is a more affordable car new. However, maybe a better comparison would be against a WRX TS. And a TS WRX is also going to be about 50 grand. So that's just the reality, folks. I mean, the average new car price as of this month just crossed $50,000. So in the grand scheme of things, even though that Volkswagen is expensive, it's, according to the data, just kind of in line with the average new car price, which is crazy.
And as far as comparison's sake in this drag race, like you mentioned, that WRX TS would price-wise be more equivalent to this, but it doesn't have any extra power, right?
Yeah, what the heck, Subaru? So you got this cool TS package, but it's got the same essential engine as this. Now, coming up in Tokyo, I'm hoping we're going to see a new WRX, which would be really cool, an STI specifically. And maybe that's going to have some more oomph, but Subaru's got up the power a little bit. They're running just a little bit behind. Now, in the drag race with the GR Corolla we just did, this car actually did take the GR Corolla. So I was kind of hoping it might be close with that Volkswagen, but when you combine that dual clutch with that E888, it's kind of a monster.
But where things might shift a little bit here in the roll race is our transmission difference. So what we're going to do to even things out a little bit is I could select my gears in this car, but instead I'm going to leave it in the automatic mode, floor it, see how long it takes for the car to downshift, whereas you will be locked into probably second gear and ready to go.
And guys, if you're looking at buying either of these cars and you want the peace of mind that comes with long-term ownership, check out Grainger Warranty. Grainger Warranty provides extended warranties for not only Subarus and Volkswagens, but a ton of different brands. And you can get your car fixed at the dealership using OEM parts, and rest easy knowing that if you keep your car for a long, long time, you're going to be covered. Check them out using the link below for a discount. All right, so 30 miles an hour, I'll go 3, 2, 1, go, and we'll see who crosses the finish line. And I might cheat a little bit because I gotta keep it interesting. Okay, second gear. Okay, there's 30 and
3, 2, 1.
go.
So it really didn't downshift actually,
Oh, there we go. All it took was a little bit of cheating.
but it took a second to get on the boost.
Man, this car does pull hard when you get in the upper RPMs.
And once it gets on a boost, it just freight trains out in front of the WRX.
But it doesn't matter. What the heck is in that Volkswagen?
Yeah, it's gone. It's fast. The numbers don't lie.
How is it this quick?
It's it's a quick car. Wish it made some more noise.
Yeah, I double cheated and it still doesn't matter. That's how fast that Volkswagen is.
Yeah, it pulls hard once it gets in a boost. Overall, the car did well. It didn't have some really long, laggy delay downshifting. It really didn't downshift at all. It just got in a boost and started pulling like a train, as always.
There is something that, I mean, I appreciate that it's, that quick, but I still wish Volkswagen hadn't killed the manual in the R and the GTI. And the interesting thing about that is, for a long time, North America, I should say, is the only way you could get a Golf R with the manual. They didn't offer it in Europe, because in Europe they were all about the best technology, the fastest technology. But even though maybe, it didn't suit the character of the car, according to the German philosophy, having that manual was still very, very cool.
Yeah, it would be a nice thing to still have. It would make the car that much more fun to drive.
All right, well, let's close it up in the wind, and we'll come up with a conclusion. So, Case, as always, the Subaru, consistent, quick, and orange. But if you want to go really, really, really fast in a straight line, that Golf R is crazy.
That's true, yeah. This is quick enough to be competitive, like we said, with some legitimate sports cars. And that is very impressive in something with 4 doors that can kind of haul your family around, has a good amount of space, easily a daily driver.
Yeah, I mean, the only big problem with that car is the price, $53,000. But if you want a comfortable yet insanely quick performer, that Golf R is crazy. But if you want a much, much, much better value and a better sound, the WRX is a good option.
And I would argue possibly a little bit more fun to drive, especially with the manual option, because this has a lot going for it on the spec sheet,
Right.
but that might be more fun. It's definitely more engaging.
100%, 100%. Yeah, I think that's a great way to put it. Now, I'd love to hear what you guys think in the comment section below. This has been Tommy.
In case.
We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.